What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time taking to the sky in the Fw-190 D13 in our first premium review. Heavily requested plane. I thought I should probably go for it. Now, I know I said I was going to do the LA9 first, but had a little bit of some problems with that, so still working that out, but more on that on a future update. So let's jump into the D13. Now, the D13 is, of course, pretty much the top tier German fighter you can get for the premium lineup. It's honestly, if I were to go with one still, it would still be the D13. The Tempest is tempting, but I feel like the D13 performs better in some aspects, and we'll get to more of that in a second. But starting with the match, I climbed to about 4,500 meters and suddenly realized, yeah, this is going to be a jet game, which means there's not going to be, there's going to be bombers, of course, but there's going to be hardly anybody at altitude because, of course, they're all jets. There's really no reason for them to climb. So, spot a couple of B-17s, and, of course, with 3 20mm cannons and one of them in the nose, 2 of them right, just, they're on the wings, but, they're pretty much in the nose. And so, what I like to do is, of course, go for bombers, because when you get into jet games, you're not guaranteed a lot of kills. So, I highly, highly recommend actually trying to go for at least 1 bomber per game, and at least ensure yourself a kill or a kill assist, just to make back the money, just in case you die. Now, the D13 is an amazing plane. In fact, it's one of the best props in the game. It's just cursed by its BR. So, of course, taking some shots at a B-17 real quick, pretty much, he's not going to be much happy for the rest of the game. Teammate decides to swoop in, and I get a kill assist. I'm not too ashamed or saddened by that. I don't really need a lot of points, so, of course, I don't mind giving it to the Me-262. So, talking, like I said, about the cannons are alright. 3 of them, they're MG-151. So, if you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. But you know what you're going to get, at least. But anyways, I was talking about the BR. The BR on this plane is just screwed up. Actually, not on this plane. On this plane, it's fine. This plane should not be fighting Meteor Mark III's, F-84s. No, not even close. So, keep in mind, is it possible? Yes. But if you find yourself against a team of them with no teammates, there's not a lot you can do except for go head on. So just keep in mind, you're really not going to perform with any Meteor or with any P-80 or F-84. So a lot of stuff you're going to be fighting is actually quite a bit better than you. Of course, the Meteors have 4 20mm, which is better, and the F-84 is just ridiculously fast for this BR. But some good qualities about this plane is it pretty much will not rip in a dive. I have had this thing roughly to about 600 miles an hour and still not broken my wings. I'm not quite sure how that's possible, but whatever, I'm not going to complain. Now Meteor right here decides to go heads up. Not the wisest decision of his life. Get a critical hit on his left wing. Yeah, as soon as he banks, he's not going to be very happy. Now I see the other Meteor try to pull around. He's going to try to go for a head-on, but like a smart person, he ducks underneath. Try to put some shots and just cannot turn enough. As you can see, one plane down. Meteor turns around. Now I put it instantly back into a climb and I turn back towards him. Now he doesn't have a lot of energy, luckily enough, and this is the only reason I was able to catch him. He puts it back down into a dive. He's going to try to outrun me, but at low speeds, props are faster at accelerating. So get some decent hits on his right aileron. Yeah, he's going to go down too. So of course, as you can see right there, if you can put the jets into a bad position, you can actually compete. Keep in mind, you are faster than them at lower speeds. It's once they pass that 350 mile an hour mark that you're really not going to be able to perform at their level. But of course, if you're accelerating from around 100 miles an hour, you will beat them in pretty much every drag race. So just keep in mind, lower speeds, although the D13 does not like them, it's really the only place that you're going to be able to keep up in those types of turns. Now, the Meteor will actually keep up with the Focke-Wulf, if not beat it, in an actual aerial combat, kind of like more of a turning combat. So keep in mind, just because you're in a prop does not mean you can beat a jet in a dogfight like that. Right there, basically, what you had seen was 2 Meteors put into very bad positions by themselves. Keep in mind, they had every advantage. they had every advantage in the beginning of this match. So that was their fault. Now, of course, I'm a fairly decent D13 pilot, but something like the Meteor should pretty much never lose to a D13. So, putting it back into a climb, I think it's that bomber that's left. So, I'm guessing he's around 4,000 meters, sadly enough. Luckily enough, though, I know, I keep on saying luckily, I don't know why. This plane is actually fairly decent at climbing, though. Don't get me wrong, it's no Spitfire Mark 24 or 22, or really any Griffin Spit, but it does keep up decently, shockingly enough. I know, it's a much heavier plane, but it has quite a bit of horsepower, and at altitude, it actually performs, in my opinion, just as well as the Griffin. Now, the Griffin, I will trade this for the Griffin any day. Don't take words out of my mouth. But this plane really is quite spectacular in the climb, and in the dive, it's pretty much unbeatable. In fact, I think this may be the fastest diving prop in the game. I'm not sure about that, but it's one of the fastest. I'm not sure if it's broken, but the thing's rip speed is just ridiculously high. So keep in mind, if you're facing a prop, you're probably going to be able to outdive it. Now, once you waste all your altitude, you're pretty much screwed against every other prop, because there's really not much this plane can do, because pretty much everything turns better than it. The only thing that this plane can keep up with the Spitfire in is scissors, and that's if the Spitfire pilot is not super advanced. This plane does scissor quite well, and that's not because of its elevator, of course. It's because of its ridiculous ailerons. This plane rolls like no other. In fact, it rolls so fast sometimes it's almost annoying, because sometimes it's hard to get shots on target if you tap the A or D key, because your plane just spins 180 degrees pretty much instantaneously, especially at decently high speeds. So keep that in mind. Light on the ailerons, and you will do just fine. But if you can actually out-scissor a Spitfire and slow down, you actually do have a chance of beating the Spitfire in his own game. Now, of course, once you get to lower altitude and waste all your energy in altitude, there's not a lot you can do. You're pretty much a sitting duck. This plane really, really, really begs of you to keep it decently high and decently fast. If you do that, and as long as you're not facing F-84s, because honestly, if it's a one-on-one F-84 versus this, and unless the F-84 is just completely, well, I'm bad at flying this plane, there's no reason F-84 should ever lose to this plane. This plane is simply, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing plane. Is it worth buying? Yes, I think so, personally. But keep in mind, at the current BR, it's going to take quite a bit of practice to get any decent games. Because, like I said, if you're put into a match with solely props, you're going to be one of the top dogs. And you're going to be scary, you're going to be fast, you're going to be better than a lot of the planes. But as soon as you're up tier like this game and put into a match with F-84s and Meteor Mark IIIs, you really don't have a lot of advantages. And if you have a decent team, it's alright, like this with the Horton 229s and ME262s. But if you're put onto a bad team with a bunch of props, it's not going to be a lot of fun, because you're most likely going to be slaughtered. So to wrap this plane up, this plane's strengths, definitely its cannons, its roll rate, its dive, and its climb rate are all spectacular. Its downfalls are its BR, because it faces ridiculously high, it faces early tier jets. So not only does it face jets, but it also has a fairly weak just maneuverability all around, especially at lower speeds. Now, at higher speeds, like I said, it is alright, but its BR combined with its lack of maneuverability is severely hindering. So, I mean, do I recommend buying the plane? Yes, it's probably my favorite top-tier German plane, at least for the premium lineup. But just keep in mind that it will fluctuate, of course, with BR. So, what I'm saying right now may be completely inaccurate a month from now. So guys, as I'm diving down on this B-17, let me know how you enjoyed the video. How else would you set up premium reviews differently in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, maybe wait till this thing's on sale, then go pick it up. But it's not something I would be super urgent to pick up right now. I should be doing a premium review on maybe the Yak VK107, or maybe the German Tempest would be good to compare to the D13. So guys, like I said, thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button down below. We're doing amazing. Thank you guys for that, and I'll see you guys next time.